As Joshua grew older, God instructed him to distribute the remaining land among the tribes of Israel. Although there were still areas to conquer, God reassured Israel that he would drive out the remaining inhabitants. The land was divided by lot among the tribes, fulfilling God's promise to give each tribe its inheritance. East of the Jordan, the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh received their portions, while the remaining 9.5 tribes received land in Canaan. Caleb, who had remained faithful during the wilderness period, was granted Hebron as his inheritance. Joshua's fair and orderly division of the land demonstrated God's provision for his people and solidified Israel's presence in Canaan. Following the land distribution, 6 cities of refuge were established throughout Israel. These cities provided sanctuary for individuals who had accidentally caused another person's death, allowing for a fair trial and protection from retribution. Additionally, cities were allocated to the Levites, who, as priests, did not receive an inheritance of land. Instead, they were distributed among the other tribes to facilitate worship and provide spiritual guidance throughout Israel. In his final years, Joshua called the leaders of Israel together at Shiloh, where the tabernacle now resided, and urged them to remain faithful to God. He reminded them of God's past faithfulness and warned against adopting the customs and gods of the remaining Canaanites. Joshua's charge emphasized the need for spiritual integrity and reminded them that Israel's continued success depended on their loyalty to God. Joshua then gathered all of Israel at Shechem, a site rich in historical and spiritual significance. Shechem was where God first promised the land to Abraham and where Jacob buried the idols under the oak tree. This gathering at Shechem symbolized a return to their roots and a recommitment to the God of their ancestors. Joshua recounted Israel's history from the call of Abraham through the Exodus and conquest, demonstrating God's enduring faithfulness. He challenged the people to abandon all other gods and to serve God alone, famously declaring, "Choose this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." The people affirmed their allegiance, renewing the covenant with God. After this solemn commitment, Joshua died at the age of 110 and was buried in Timnath-Serah, in the land he had received as his inheritance. Israel continued to serve God throughout Joshua's lifetime and during the lives of the elders who outlived him. Eleazar, the high priest, also passed away and was buried at Gibeah, marking the end of an era in Israel's history. These final chapters in Joshua emphasize the fulfillment of God's promises, the importance of loyalty to God, and the significance of covenant renewal. Joshua's call to choose whom you will serve became a foundational charge for Israel's future, underscoring the need for intentional, lasting faithfulness in the generations to come. Applications. Remember God's faithfulness. Joshua's reminders of God's past actions serve to strengthen Israel's commitment. We too should remember how God has worked in our lives, allowing His faithfulness to build our trust and encourage us to follow Him faithfully. Seek peace and justice in the community. The establishment of cities of refuge highlighted the value of justice and mercy. Similarly, we should aim to foster peace and fairness in our own communities, providing support and sanctuary for those in need. Prioritize spiritual guidance. By distributing the Levites among the tribes, God ensured that spiritual guidance was readily available. We can learn from this by seeking out or providing spiritual support in our communities, staying connected to others who help us grow in faith. Commit to serve God daily. Joshua's charge to choose this day whom you will serve is a reminder to commit ourselves to God continually. Serving Him is a daily decision that requires intentional effort and prioritization of His will over worldly distractions. Pass faithfulness to future generations. Joshua's example of loyalty to God was passed down to the elders who outlived him, ensuring that Israel continued to serve God. We, too, should strive to leave a legacy of faith for the next generation, sharing our testimony and encouraging others to trust in God's promises.